And we're live. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Super excited, exciting day today. Something we like to call announcement day. You could just feel the buzz and the
It's
energy
in the
in the
air.
air. Yeah. So what did we announce today?
We've got a great new and exciting announcement today. The brand new Moto G Stylus 5G phone. You heard it here first. You probably didn't hear it here first, but we're going to give you all the great features of this amazing device. By the way, I'm Chris.
I'm Adrian.
We're so excited to have you with us here on the live stream. Welcome people from YouTube and TikTok. We're going to take you through a rundown of this great device, the Moto G Stylus 5G. We've got another exciting surprise too at the very end.
Yes, that's right. We're going to be giving away one of these phones. So you can be a winner. You can take one of these home today, or actually we'll ship it to your home today. All you have to do is ask us questions. We've already seen a bunch of questions come in. So if you've already asked the questions, thank you so much. We're going to try to answer those questions throughout the live stream, but keep those questions coming. That's how we're going to select a winner. Just ask those questions. Ask us what you want to know about the phone. But today we are going to break it down. We're going to do some live demos, some tips and tricks. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, in about 15 or 20 minutes towards the end of the live stream, we'll announce a winner. But yeah, please keep the questions coming. Well, I've actually got one right now that I'm going to start off with that says, what's the difference between the 4G and the 5G version of this device? Great question. I was going to start off talking about 5G anyway. It's right in the name of the phone.
It is.
So yeah, the biggest difference, of course, is that this device, the brand new device, is 5G capable. What does that mean? Well, 5G networks, there's been a lot of hype around it. But the biggest benefit you get really is speed. If you remember back to 4G, there's a lot of hype then too. And there were so many apps that didn't even exist back then that were created, like TikTok, for example, that took advantage of those much faster speeds so you can get streaming video. 5G is going to blow that out of the water. You get like 10 times faster speeds. It'll be super useful for things like downloading videos, uploading photos. If you can imagine, like if you're at the airport, they come on the intercom and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, the Wi-Fi is out for this flight. Everybody whips out their phone and you got to download, your favorite shows and movies as soon as possible. And 5G is just it will allow everybody to do that at the same time and with incredible speed. So you can get like a full movie in just a couple of minutes onto this device.
Yeah, lower latency, so great for gaming, great for video conferencing, but you're right. Faster downloads, faster uploads, that's what we want. We want faster speeds.
And we'll talk a little bit later about how to use this device for editing photos, but of course photos are a big part of this. And with 5G, you can upload photos really in an instant, put them on Instagram, put them on TikTok, wherever you are. You can really take advantage of those amazing speeds.
Yeah, and that I think brings us to the next question, which leads us into something else that's in the name, which is the stylus. So we have a question here saying, besides taking notes, what are some other cool things that you can do with the stylus? So great question. You're right. I think when we think about stylus phones, the first thing we think about is taking notes, right? So I think we did studies where about 80% of people who have a stylus device are using the stylus for taking notes. But what's that other 20%? What are some other cool things? So let's get to that. Let's switch to this other screen. One thing I do want to show you with regard to taking notes is that we built something called Moto Note. And what Moto Note allows you to do is to organize your notes, categorize your notes. So if it's a honey-do list, a grocery list, your favorite recipes, you can start categorizing that, organizing that. But my favorite thing about that is that you can immediately from the lock screen, see it's locked, right when I pull out the stylus, I can immediately start taking notes.
It's amazing that it just opens up automatically.
Just like pen and paper, and we've all been there, right? We got to jot down a quick phone number, a license plate, right? A street address. And the cool thing is you just click save, it saves it for you, it puts it into your Moto Note, and now it's there for you to access at another time, right? So great there. We're going to unlock that. We'll go to Moto Note. You can see that your notes are saved there. Some other cool things that you can do, you can draw, you can doodle. I got a little doodle here of one of my characters here. So this guy,
artist there.
Yeah, so really quickly you can doodle, you can add all kinds of cool stuff there. So what about when you are in the Moto Note app, right? So there's actually some really cool tools. There's a ruler, right, that you can use to make straight lines. If you're like me, a little OCD, you want to have those straight lines, right? So a lot of cool tools that you can have there. But to the question, what are some other things that you can do? And as you mentioned, you can edit photos. So let's go to editing a photo. Let's pick a photo here. Let's pick my buddy Max. This is my dog Max. So let's go to edit. Let's slide over to screenshot editor, because screenshot editor is going to allow you to do some really cool things. So first of all, you can annotate, right? You can put notes. This is my buddy Max, right? You can highlight. So if you have text, you're reading a book, you want to highlight a paragraph or something, you can highlight. You could also add some text here. You could write it out. So hello, right? Or help. Man, poor Max needs help. So down here at the bottom, another cool thing that we just added to the Moto Note and to the screenshot editor is this blur tool or mosaic. And what that allows you to do is kind of blur out any unnecessary or unwanted information. Right now, we're posting a lot of our personal information on social media. You want to block some of that out. You want to blur that out. This blur tool will allow you to do that super quick. One more thing I want to show you when it comes to editing. What about cropping? I know what you're thinking. Why would you need a stylus to crop? Well, you got your standard crop tool, right? You can also go down here, select crop. Now you could also do it in a sphere, right? So this kind of matches your Zoom thumbnail, your Teams Hangouts, all that good stuff, right?
I bet Max has some great Zoom calls.
He does. He's a real talker. He's a real talker. But how do you use the stylus, right? I think that's what you're wondering. So here you could actually draw around the subject and crop out my buddy there. So there
cool.
he is. So that way you get all those great tools. So editing, right? So editing photos. And then there's another question here. Can I make a drawing of that iconic M Batwing with the stylus? Yes, you can. Let's show you.
Absolutely, you can.
One thing that we added is a coloring book app. So this is something Motorola put in there. So you get great coloring book pages. You can start coloring to your heart's content. But let's say you run out, right? You colored all of these pages. Now I want some more. Let's add some more. See that little plus sign there at the bottom? Let's tap on that. We could actually create with AI. Give me something to draw. I'll draw.
Adrian, I want to see a frog.
A frog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me your best frog right now. On the spot.
I don't know if we practice frog. Okay, so let's see. Let's do frog. That's a good little froggy.
Look at that. He's
right?
a pro.
Well, the AI, the artificial intelligence, saw that and it's like, is that a Ninja Turtle? What is that? No, that's a frog. So it actually gave me some suggestions so I could choose and select. So now I can have my own coloring book of something that I drew. I could use that, or I can go with the recommended version. So now it's there. What else can I do? Talking about that iconic Batwing, let's take a look at what you can do. You could actually go to your gallery and select a photo from your gallery. Now let's convert that, and there you have it. So now you have that iconic Batwing. You can color it, you can doodle, whatever you want to do. So many things that you can do with the stylus. You can draw, you can take notes, you can color, you can play games, you can edit your photos. The list goes on and on. And you know what? At the end of the day, it also changes the way you navigate your phone or how you interact with the phone. Just scrolling through my social media feed, text messaging, browsing the internet, so many great things that you can do with this stylus.
Yeah, and I think for those of you who haven't used a phone before that has a stylus, you're like me. This is my first time using a stylus device. And it really, like you said, it changes how you interact with the phone. It's super convenient. And it's really just a nice tool to have. It's out of the way when you don't need it, and then you can just pop it right out when you want to take a quick note or when you want to interact with the phone. So I think it's a super great feature. Adrian, we've got a couple of questions coming up about the display. What can you tell us about the display?
Nice. Well, yeah, as you mentioned with 5G, we're streaming, we're uploading, right? We mentioned the stylus, you're drawing, you're editing, you're doing things. You want to have a big display for that, right?
Yep.
So this is a 6.8-inch full HD plus display, so that's 1080
It's a big
plus.
screen.
It is a big screen, but it also feels really nice in your hand.
Yep.
Nice aspect ratio, so it still fits nice in your hand.
You can always have one hand on the phone, one hand on the stylus.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
So beautiful display, great for, again, really enjoying all of your entertainment, whether it's your favorite shows, your favorite videos, having that big display, especially if you're gaming. But you know what else too? Multitasking, right? The dual screen, having that functionality, the video conferencing. You could be video conferencing on the, kind of the half of the screen, text messaging on the bottom. To do that, you want to have a big phone, right? A lot of real estate here to do all of those fun things. So great question. It is an LCD display. So yeah, hopefully that answers some of those display questions.
Yeah, let's pause for a second. We've got a couple other questions coming through on the first couple of things we talked about. So we had a question on 5G about whether it's ultra wideband or sub 6. So this is a sub 6 gigahertz device for those of you who know the technical details of 5G networks here. But it's also, I just want to mention, it's unlocked for all carriers. So you make sure you can get it at whatever carrier that you use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely double check with your carrier to see who's carrying it. This will be available as well as unlocked, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the camera. So this device, if you can see from the back here, has 4 cameras on it. This has packed some amazing capability into it. So you've got this main camera that's 48 megapixels, which has what we call quad pixel technology, which combines every 4 pixels into one large pixel that captures a lot more light. which is really useful for low light photo shooting. It just pulls out much more brightness, much more detail and clarity, and even a lot more color too. So that technology is something we've had on a lot of our Motorola devices these days, but we're bringing it to the Moto G Stylus 5G. So just off the bat, you get really great photo quality. But we also got 3 other camera sensors on here to complement that one. So you've got an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, you've got a 5 megapixel macro camera, and you've also got a 2 megapixel depth sensor, which gives you much better, much more accurate background blur when you're doing portrait mode. So you get a really nice blur in the background and keep yourself in good focus. So I want to show you a couple of examples. Specifically, I'll start with the ultra wide angle camera. Because this is really useful. We've seen people do a bunch of creative things with these cameras these days. But I went up to the roof here of our headquarters here in downtown Chicago, and this is the view that we have. It's a beautiful view. You can see we're looking at some buildings. You don't get a ton of context here. But then when you move to the ultra wide, it zooms out. You get much more of the river. You can even see around the curve of the river there. It just makes a much more dramatic kind of a view. You get more context to your photos. The ultra wide angle camera, it gives you a lot of great options there.
Yeah, the ultra wide is great too, especially now that things are opening back up. We're doing the family picnics, the family barbecues, right? You want to get everyone in that shot now.
That's right.
So the ultra wide is perfect for that. It fits so much more into that image and into that photo, so it's great to have the ultra wide.
Yeah, the field of view is almost the same as the human eye, right? So you get a much wider vision. It's more natural for what you see. All right, the other thing I want to show you is macro vision, which is on the dedicated macro camera here. So here's an example that I took earlier. You can see it's this really nice fabric. Oh, just kidding. It's actually my shirt.
Your shirt, yeah.
So
I see that.
you can see this is a close-up. If I pinch and zoom in here, you can actually see some of the individual fabrics in that kind of cross stitch there. It's amazing how close you can get, only a couple of centimeters away, and you get amazing detail in these photographs. And we've seen people do some really cool and creative things with the macro vision camera.
If you look up macro photography on social media or really anywhere, you're going to find thousands of pages dedicated. It's awesome, right? And what a great time to do and to use the macro lens right now, right? The gardens are out and about, your flowers are blooming, you want to get up close.
Yeah.
And really, you can't do that with a normal camera. If you try to get too up close, it just blurs out, it never focuses.
Right.
It'll instantly get that close with that macro lens. So
yeah,
really
that's
cool
right.
stuff.
And especially for foodies out there, you can get right up and close and personal with your food. So one other thing I want to mention I want to talk a little more about some of the video features. So we introduced this year a bunch of brand new video features for our Motorola smartphones. This is my favorite. It's called dual capture. It actually splits the screen and it records using 2 different cameras. So I'm actually going to show you how this works here, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek of our studio. So you can see you've got one camera that's facing me, and then another one is showing you our studio in the background. So this is perfect for people who are out there. They're cataloging, they're diagramming, they're dialoguing their journeys. If you're out there traveling, you want one camera facing you so you can give some commentary, but you also want to give everybody the context for what you're seeing. So now you can see both. You can upload that, right to, whatever your favorite social media site is, but you can get that context of having both people or both things in front of you and behind you at the same time.
Yeah, that's really cool. Being able to use the front camera and the rear camera, as you mentioned. A lot of people are vlogging now. They're out, they're traveling. It's summertime, so they're going on their vacations. They want to show the beautiful scene, but they want to maybe add some commentary and share that with their friends and family. So dual capture, having that feature on there is so much fun.
Totally. 2 other features I want to mention really quickly about the camera. So one is a feature we call night vision, which just brings out much more detail and clarity in low light photos. Again, this is a feature we introduced a couple of years ago, but even beyond that 48 megapixel main sensor that already gives you really good quality, if it's super dark outside, you want to switch to night vision, and that really brings out some color and much more brightness as well. And then the other one is spot color. So we've had a spot color photo feature out there for a long time where you can choose one color to keep in color, and then everything else turns to black and white. So you get this really dramatic view where you've got this big pop of color. But we've also brought this feature to video now. So you can actually you can record a video with this same spot color feature. It just gives you a whole new look to your videos.
Yeah, and you could swap colors in real time on that video, which is nice. So you could select, let's say you start off with green, it turns everything else black and white except for all the green images. You want to switch to red, it'll do that in real time with that video. So really great that we were able to take that from photo now over to video.
Yeah, so one other thing we want to talk about, definitely want to hit on some of the performance features. And the feature I mentioned about dual capture, you can't just record 2 cameras on your own without a lot of power putting it behind us. So why don't you tell us about that?
We partnered up again with Qualcomm Snapdragon to offer the 480 5G chipset built for 5G, built specifically for the things that this phone can do for you, right? It's built for multiple camera usage, battery efficiency, really highlighting all the things that you can do. And as you mentioned, right, if you're streaming, if you're editing photos, if you're doing all these things, you're going to want a good processor to power you through that. Not only that, but battery life as well.
Yep.
We're getting about 2 days of battery life
incredible.
on here. So someone asked how big is the battery? It's 5,000 milliamp hour battery. And you're getting a pretty good 2 days worth of battery, a little bit over. When I was testing this out, when we were creating content for it, I got well over 2 days consistently.
That's amazing because, you know, people most of the time just plug your phone in and charge overnight, but it's really nice to have, you know, that worry-free mindset where if you're going out, you're staying out late, you don't need to worry about it because your battery, you know, it will last way longer than you need it.
Yeah, and we know one of the #1 pain points for customers is battery life, right? And having a good battery life.
People hate it when their battery dies off.
Exactly. And especially as you mentioned, now that we're traveling more, we're in airports, right? We probably got out of that rhythm of when do I need to charge this? With this phone, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about looking for an outlet in your connecting flight. It'll power you through to the next day.
Let's pause. We'll spend some more time on Q&A here. We got some other questions coming in specifically about the performance.
Yep.
So the first one here, my favorite question so far. How did you pack all that power in such a sweet device?
Yes.
So, I mean, we stick really close to all of you, the consumers out there, people who are out there using our phones. It's super important for us even when we're, you know, concepting these phones and deciding what features are going to go into it. We listen to the feedback we get from you, and that's, you know, how we decide to pull in this bucket of features. And like Adrian just said, battery life. Everyone we talk to tells us that they hate a dying battery, so we wanted to make sure that we put a huge battery inside this phone. So
yeah, and I think another thing to call out with the stylus itself, on previous generations and other stylus phones, when you eject or insert the stylus, you had to kind of put it in a certain right way. You know, if it didn't, you had to kind of pull it back out. Well, what we did because of that feedback, as you mentioned, and listening to the customers and what they're saying, is we made this super easy. So you just pop it in. It doesn't matter which way you put it in. You don't have to be a precision ninja to get it back in there, right? So really cool stuff. So again, kind of to your point about how we listen to the customers, listen to that feedback, and make sure that we add that to future generations.
Another question here on the charging. So it's the question is, does the phone support turbocharging? Yes, it does. And inside the box here, you get a 10-watt charger, so it does include that fast charging. Question on the memory and storage. I'll direct that to you, Adrian.
Yeah, so the memory and storage. So you're getting up to 6 gigs of RAM, which is great, right? For multitasking, we're doing a lot on the phones. As we already mentioned, you're going to want to have a good amount of RAM. There's a 4 gig of RAM option and a 6 gig RAM of option as well. And storage is up to 256 gigs of storage, which is a lot,
that's a
right?
huge amount of storage.
Yeah, that's a lot, especially the fact that you could expand that up to 1 terabyte. So right now, a lot of things already live on the cloud. You know, a lot of things are, you know, we don't have to save on our phone anymore, but now we have more and more storage for those videos, for our memories, for those coloring book pages, right? So having all that storage plus the ability to expand it, you know, can't get better than that.
One last question here, and then we'll move on, and it's about the audio. And the thing I want to point out is that this phone has a headset jack. There's a lot of smartphones these days that are ditching this guy, but you can have the headphone jack here. So for those of you who prefer the kind of higher sound quality when you plug in a headset there, we've got that option available for you.
Yep, exactly. And then I think here, one of the questions that goes into, are there any hidden features? Does it include any hidden features? Which I think is pretty cool and kind of leads us into like software and some other cool things. That
totally. The best hidden feature is the stylus, which is hidden inside the phone.
Right.
But we also have on the back, the fingerprint sensor is hidden underneath the Motorola Batwing. So you always see it's the iconic Motorola smartphone design. You've got the Batwing logo on the back. That actually doubles as the fingerprint reader. So it's right there and convenient. You always know where it is. But I want to talk about, you mentioned software, I want to talk about some of the software on this device. This phone will be running Android 11, so you have all the latest and greatest features from Android in terms of security and some new navigation features as well. Motorola, on top of that, we make it a point to use a pretty clean, almost stock version of Android. We don't do any duplicate apps. We don't reskin the whole UI of the device. We keep it pretty clean, and we let you kind of decide how you want to use it and what you like to see. But a big part of that is what we call My UX, which is located in the Moto app. And I'm going to show you a couple of cool features. The most popular features, of course, are the gestures, which is where you can do the chop chop to turn on the flashlight automatically. I never knew that I would use a smartphone flashlight so much until I found that. Or you can do the twist of your wrist to open the camera, and boom, your camera's already open. So whenever you're in the moment, you won't need to take a picture on the go. All you got to do is twist your wrist twice, and you get immediate access to the camera there.
Yeah, simple gestures for everyday interactions, and it's an ever-growing list of things at Motorola that we're adding to these phones. So be on the lookout for that. It's all in that Motorola app.
Yep, exactly. The other thing I want to mention as far as software is inside of my UX also you have this option for personalization. So you can change the icon shapes, the fonts, the colors, a bunch of different things to make it fit your own personality. So for example, I'm going to go through and I'm going to pick out a different font, and I want square icons, and I like this orange color, so I'm going to show you this. So I've totally changed now the home screen. If you can compare these two, I've got my square icons here. If I scroll down here, you can see I've got orange icons up at the top, and I've changed the font as well. So it's totally different. It you can have these options to really make it one in a million, really pull out your own personality.
Yeah, and you could customize several different themes, and you could switch between those themes depending on your favorite outfit,
the color of your nails, the color of your hair, whatever
your mood for that day,
yeah,
whatever
right.
it be. So I really like the fact that you can customize those and switch it up as you go.
Yep. So I think we've got time for one or two more questions, and then we're going to do our giveaway. We're giving one of these guys away.
Oh man, I'm excited
in just
for
a minute here. Let's see. Are there any other questions? Oh, question about the price. So this is going to be $399. It'll be available on Monday, this coming Monday, June 14th.
Yeah.
Let's see. It'll be available. We talked about a question on the carriers. It'll be available at places like T-Mobile, Metro by T-Mobile, AT&T, Cricket. And more we'll be announcing in the coming months.
Yeah, which is super cool. And for $399, again, you're getting all of these really great features, bringing those types of features like Stylus, like 5G. You don't have to spend a fortune, right, to get into that.
That's right.
A lot of these features before, you had to go into the flagship, right? You had to pay a little bit more for that. But now we're bringing that and making it at a price point that makes sense for everybody.
All right, so we've got our giveaway winner. Our team off to the side here has pulled out. Adrian, if you want to announce our winner here, exciting moment for brand new Moto G Stylus 5G device.
And the
Who's our winner?
Is Bill in Naples, Florida.
Bill_N_Naples, Florida. Hopefully he lives in Naples.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, because we get shipping there for pretty cheap.
Congratulations, Bill, if your name is Bill. Be on the lookout for a DM from us at Motorola US. We'll be sending you the information on how to claim your device. But congratulations. We hope you enjoy your new Moto G Stylus 5G. It's got this amazing, beautiful green color. That's why I'm kind of moving it around here so you can see. But we hope you enjoyed it. We hope all of you have enjoyed our live stream here.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Again, it goes on sale on June 14th. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for more information, more tips and tricks. You know what? And I heard that you have a podcast now.
Oh yeah, yeah. If for those of you out there during this live stream who've enjoyed hearing the sound of my voice, but not so much the look of my face, we also have a podcast that I do with my teammate Doug Mikow. It's called Moto Talks. You can find it on Motorola.com or also on Spotify. We had some really interesting conversations with people around the smartphone industry, just talking about future trends and technology. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, if you want to learn more about 5G, the first episode was about 5G. You also did one about digital well-being, which is awesome. Definitely recommend it. A lot of special guests. So yeah, definitely check that out. But again, congratulations to Bill. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. And yeah, thanks for joining.
Take care. Have a good one.